it, what did they do? That's what we call maintenance, right? So we don't just develop products in the tech space without improving, without fixing, and without scaling. That's what we call scaling the product, adding more features to the product to get users excited, to ensure that users that are using the application, they are happy and they are not sad or they are not frustrated using the application, right? And then we have what we call the launch phase. Now, the launch phase has to do with, getting the product live, making it live, right? And we're going to be talking about all these things very soon. So let's move on. I'll show you a practical example very soon. Now let's move on to the roles in tech. Who builds products? What are the visible and invisible roles in tech? And I have this table here, right? So if you are interested in tech, but you don't know what it means, you should listen very, very well to this particular part. If you don't hear anything in this lesson, learn this one, right? Learn this one. Okay. Now, these are the roles and what they do in the tech space. We have what we call the UI UX designer, right? The person, the person that actually has that idea, right, and decides to build that idea, we call them the product owner. We call them what? Product owner. They are the owners of the product. We call them product owners, right? Now, this product owner now goes and talks to a UI UX designer first and say, this is my problem, right? This is my problem, and this is what I want to solve. This is how I want to solve the problem. Now, the UI UX designer goes on and designs the user interface. Now, what do we mean by an interface? What do we mean by an interface, right? Now, how am I speaking to you and you are hearing me and you are seeing me? I'm using what? Google Meet, right? So Google Meet is the interface. If it was physically, I'm using the word physical realm. If you see me in your dream, what is the interface? I'm using the word the spirit realm, right? So everything has an interface. Interface is just the point of interaction. So UI UX designer goes and say, oh, I want to, okay, sorry, I just got a pop-up and distracted me. All right. So a UI designer goes and sees the idea and now converts this idea to a design. It's just as an architect, right? As an architect now, and I want to open something really quickly so that as I'm talking about these rules, I'm showing you a practical example. So let me just open that up very quickly. All right. So it's still in its raw form. So the UI UX designer translates it. And what this designs, the way we call it screens. Screens. When we start doing UI UX, you understand better. Screens. It designs it and puts it into screens. These screens will now show the flow between a user signing up, logging in. Do you understand that? Right? Now, there's another thing we call a product manager. Let me tell you the truth. I've been in the tech space for over 5 years. And one thing I can tell you is that tech is very stressful. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to come here and tell you tech is not stressful, it's very stressful. And it can be a very chaotic process. Why is it chaotic? Because there's somebody that needs to manage developers. There's some developers that they will frustrate you. They will not do what they are supposed to do when they are supposed to do it. So there's somebody that needs to manage the developers. There's also somebody, right, that needs to be a link between the developers and the owners of the project. Because now the owners of the project are what we call non-technical people. They don't understand coding. So as a developer, if you are speaking to them, it's as if you are speaking in French. Just imagine everybody on this call, they are speaking French, and now I'm speaking English. You'll be like, what is wrong with this? What's wrong with this young lady here? Why is she speaking English to us? We don't understand, right? So the product manager stands in the gap between the developers and the owners of the project, communicating. The product owner will be like, I want the application that when I'm using the app, the user will be seeing, if it's a logistics application, the user will be seeing the rider moving from one point to another, from one point to another, from one point to another. The product owner will not go and say, okay, the developer does not understand what is from one point to another, from one point to another. This particular logic is what we call a tracker logic. And the product manager will not say, this is the tracker logic, these are the features of the tracker logic. It will break it down so well, right? It will break it down so well. These are the features of the tracker logic. The user will be here. The rider will tell the application will collect the the location of the rider, is to collect the location of the user, and then compare the location. Are you seeing all these things? But the product owner just sees it as the rider, the user is seeing the rider as it's moving on the app. That's the way it sees it. So we call them non-technical people. That's why a product manager is needed, right? Because the product manager now understands the technical aspects and the non-technical aspect, and they can stand as that gap, right? Now, the engineers, very often in tech, okay, very often in tech, we are going to be hearing the word engineer and developers thrown all about. For now, just assume that they are the same thing. Okay? For now, just know that they are the same thing. Let's take it as the same thing. Or whether I would say engineers or developers, what they are doing is building the products, right? Now, there's another role we call data analyst. Data analyst. The data analyst is the one that analyzes the user behavior, right? You've seen those chat applications, right? You see those chat applications, and when you on your website, and when you ask them questions, and they will just reply to you. We call them chatbots, right? Before they get to that point, and even in the AI space, AI writes on data. AI writes on what? Data. If AI does not have data, it cannot work. AI is data driven. AI is what? Data driven. So there is somebody they call data analyst that gathers all the users' data, that gathers all the information about the company and pours it into the artificial intelligence. I'm just trying to explain what a data analyst does. So the data analyst analyzes the user's behavior. Oh, you notice that users don't like buying for airtime on the application. Why don't they like buying for airtime in the application? Is it that the interface is not bad? It's very bad. Is it that the prices are too much? It analyzes those behaviors. That's what the data analyst does. Then there's something we call quality assurance and testers. Now, once a product has been built, it is not a perfect product yet. It's only God that builds one thing once and calls it perfect, right? It's not a perfect product. It needs to be fixed, and it needs to be tested rather. So there are people we call quality assurance or testers. They get on the application, they test it. In fact, the quality assurance, let me just give you a little insight. Testers and developers, they are at war at each other all the time because the tester will come and say this thing is not working. I'm clicking here and it's not working. Whereas that's not the developer builds it. They are clicking on this place. You're not meant to click here. But the reason why the tester is clicking there because the interface is not so clear, right? So the testers will bring out all of these user defects that this product have that is making it not so good, right? And these testers, they are really serious overseas. Oh. They pay testers, people that are just test. Their own is to just carry the app and be testing. I'll be telling you, oh, I don't like it. Oh, it was confusing for me. It's an actual job. It's an actual job, right? And there's another role we call DevOps. DevOps. Now, with tech, we have a lot of infrastructure. We have what we call Postman. We have what we call Docker. All of these things are software we use in building. There's somebody that needs to manage all this software so that the developers can build with ease. And that's what we call the DevOps. Take it as Adam. You can call this the Adam of the equation. Because after God was done building, after he has done he has done with creating the heads. What did he do? He created Adam. Adam manage all these things. These are the infrastructure, manage them. That's what the DevOps does. Right? So these are the roles in tech. So I'm going to leave the abstract view and just show you a project that I worked on, right? A project that I worked on recently. I'll show you the layout and everything so that we'll now start identifying these rules. Okay, so let me share another part of my screen. Let me call it this. We're going to take attendance soon. After this, okay. All right. All right, beautiful. Okay. Now, let's start with the UI UX. Can everybody see my screen? Can everybody see my screen? All right, beautiful. Now, a UI UX, let me close up this tab. Okay, that's good. Okay. All right, beautiful. Now, a UI UX designer, this is a Extreme Cleaning Services. It's a company in Nigeria here. And they wanted a website, right? They wanted a website where, people can, go in and, what they call it? People can go in, contact them and see all their services, right? That was the idea that they had, right? So the products, I was not the designer, right? The product owner handed it over to somebody that is a designer, right? And the designer just built out this interface. You can see how beautiful it looks like, right? Now, you can see a UI UX designer is more like an architect. When you want to build a house, you don't just start by laying blocks or by digging out the foundation. Where do they want to put the kitchen? Where do they want to put the parlor? Right? Where do they want to put the everything? Right? And that's what the UI UX designer does. You can see that the buttons, the pictures, the images, what each page to look like, the UI UX designer has laid it down. It's no longer abstract, it's no longer in their head. No, it's no longer in the head again. It's now something you can see and relate with. Oh, okay, this is a landing page. This is what we call a landing page, by the way. This is a landing page, and then okay, this is how it should look like. After the UI UX designer is done, they pass it over to the developer, right? And the developer now goes on to build it. The developer goes on to build it. So if you search now on your phone, extremecleaningservicesng.com, you see this website come up, right? Because I was a developer, I've built it now. From this design, I will not now need to start thinking, okay, where will I put the button? Which image will I use? Which text will I use? What's the color of the text? How will the page look like? I will no longer need to think about this text, right? But most people just build without UI UX, and it tells very well. Like for example, me now in the house where I stayed, the socket is inside my wardrobe. Like my socket is inside my wardrobe. So anytime I want to connect my socket, I have to go under into my wardrobe and plug in. Why? Because the architects did not do a good job, or the bricklayers did not follow the job of the architect. That is the people that are building the house. They did not follow the architectural plan well. Because in the architectural plan, you should know that you should not put this is where a wardrobe should be. So you should not put a socket there. So it's as if the electrician just went there, put the socket there, and those people doing the wardrobe said, this is where wardrobe is supposed to be. Anyways, we just put the wardrobe there. You can see how problems start to occur in tech when we have all these rules and they're not doing anything. Or they just skip over rules. There's no UI UX designer, just build. Right? So we are trying to correct that narrative, right? Even as we are teaching you, we are also correcting that narrative. Because teaching is not just teaching you a skill, it's also building your mindset on certain things, right? All right. And to tell you the truth, I've been on jobs that there was no UI UX designer, and I regretted my life. I was tired. I was frustrated a lot of times. Why? Because something that a UI UX designer was supposed to do, I'm not the one doing it, and it was telling on me. It was telling on me seriously, right? So once you start your own tech journey, your own tech career, right? When somebody say, "Oh yeah, come and do a website for us," it is good that you know these things so that you don't make the same mistakes that I made. Do you understand that? All right. So let's go on to a case study, and it will just be a banking app. So if you have your OPay there, you can open your OPay, and I'll try to explain to you some of the things we have. Right? Now, if you look at the banking app, what is a banking app for? What is a banking app for? A banking app is for when users want to transfer money, right? Want to transfer money from one person to another. Then we now have what we call the banking app. That is the problem. You see how we started with the problem first? Start with the problem first. Users want to transfer money from one bank to another before you start including other things. Oh, users want to pay for airtime and data. Oh, users can also want to pay for, electric bills, right? Before you start introducing all those things, what is the primary problem? Users want to transfer problem. What are the visible roles? The UI, UX, and the front end. Most times in software, people get so frustrated because the only persons they are seeing is UI UX designer and the front end developer. Now, the front end developer is the one that converts this UI UX designer that I've showed you into a website, right? Now, we open the website, you can click on the button, you can do this, you can do that. When you now want to transfer money, there is an hidden role we call back end engineer or back end developer. The back end developer is the one that builds the logic And most times they're always low key. They don't talk too much. If you see them, they don't talk too much. Why? Their jobs is the hardest when it comes to logic, because now you have to think of building it in such a way that it is secured. Every single thing that has to do with user transferring money, the backend engineer is the first one that writes the logic. We call it the logic of the system. When I click this button, it gets saved to a database. Like when I'm filling a login form, I'll fill in my name, I'll fill in all my information. I click on send to tell you, thank you, I've recorded your response. Where is this information going to? It's a backend engineer that handles this. So with backend, you'll not be hearing things like server, database, API, be hearing some concepts like that, right? That's what the backend developer does. And most times people will think backend developers are not working. Why? Because the only thing you are seeing is the front end, right? You are seeing the front end, you are seeing the buttons, it's so beautiful, right? So backend developers, they just feel like backend developers are not working. Whereas for that application to go successfully, for that application to be used, you need a backend engineer. You need a backend developer that will write down the logic. I've just given you an example. When I go to a login form, I enter my name, I enter all my information, say thank you for something. That's the front end, it's doing what it's doing, right? But now the backend talks to the database, because there's something called a database, right? When you submit your when you submit your information, I think most people here are students, right? They will tell you you must buy the departmental file, right? When you buy the departmental file, they will tell you put your course reg, put everything inside the file and be carrying it up and down. The way to identify 100 level students are people that are carrying one big file. They are working from exams and record. You go and submit the exams and record. You go and submit the faculty. You go and submit everywhere. That is what we call the database. That's how the database came about, right? That's how database came about. So the backend developer is the one that talks to the backend, talks to the database, sorry, and says, hey, database, information is coming. Store this here. That's what the backend engineer does. I said, okay, database, this user has already signed up, right? Now check if this user exists in the database. Give me all the user's information. That's why when you now log in and you go to your open, you see your name displayed here. It's the backend that is doing all those things. It's grabbing it from the database and giving it to the front end. So the front end will now take it from the backend and now display it on your application. Hope is not so abstract to us again, right? Hope we are understanding. So these are just the foundational concepts, right? These are things you should know. Even if you are going to end up being a product designer, a product manager, even if you are going to end up being a UI UX designer, these are just things you should know. Because now, as a UI UX designer, I have one very good UI UX designer on my team. When we are discussing a problem, we'll be like, okay, in mobile apps, you can integrate Zoom. How did you know you can integrate Zoom in mobile apps? He does his research. He understands how these things work. He understands what API is. All of these concepts, right? This foundational knowledge is what will enable you to be like an all-round person in tech. Like, for example, me, I'm an all-round person in tech. If it's to pitch to investors, I'm there. If it's project management, I'm there and I have my certificates. If it's front end, I'm there. If it's back end, I'm there. My head is everywhere. I'm there. Why? Because I got this foundational part. I got this foundational part very well. And I can write in any programming language I want to write. And that's why we are so concerned about this foundational knowledge. Right? So very shortly, I'm going to put the link for you to, get the let me just send it. So you just go on the link. I'm going to put it in the chat. Okay, so where's chat? All right. So please, everybody can. Oh, I copied the wrong link. I'm coming. All right, so everybody can go on this link now, fill in their details and mark their attendance. So while we are doing that, we have 15 minutes to do that, please, before the form closes. If you are having any difficulties filling the attendance, you can just say so. So we've literally come to the end of the class, and after the attendance has gone on, we leave room for questions. But now, if you are done filling your attendance, and you want to ask questions, you can ask questions. But for now, just copy the link. Just click on it. I think it's clickable. Just click on it and start filling your attendance. So if there's any question, you can ask me any question at all, even if it's not part of what we are doing here. You want to ask about the academy, about the free program, this is your time. Just ask. Just ask. So I'm waiting for your question. We don't have any question. We don't have anything to say, or we are still filling the attendance. All right. Okay. Okay. The link is showing in form of a write-up. It's not clickable. Okay, but I'm getting some responses here already. Are you sure it's not clicking? Let me just display it on the screen. So when you click on the form, it's supposed to take you to this page now, right? Where you write your full name as you want it on the certificate, your email address, and you just check this box. It's not showing like this on your end, Glory. Is it still not showing on your end, Glory? You can unmute you. Are you guys scared to talk? You guys should talk. Oh. Don't be scared at all. Okay, it's not showing, ma. All right. Okay. Are you using a phone? Are you using a phone or your laptop? I can't hear you. Are you using a phone or a laptop? Okay, you are using a phone. All right. Do you know what you would do? Just copy it. Can you see the chat? Just copy it like that. Go to Chrome and just paste it as if you are searching for something on Google. Do you understand? Just copy it. Go to Chrome and just paste it. Yeah, that would be better. Okay. Do we have any questions? Please, I love to be asked a lot of questions. You guys don't have questions for me. Should I ask my questions? I will just pick anybody now and ask you. Um, who can help us? Who can help us do a summary of what was taught today? You don't know whether I want to give you money now. I just say the person that did it, I'll just give you 1 million naira. Eh? Who can just give us a summary? You can unmute your mic and talk. It's an interactive class. Who wants to give us a summary? See that you guys don't want to talk. Okay, I'm just going to pick in somebody. I'm just going to pick in somebody since you guys don't want to pick yourself. Israel, I said you're very active. Can you just tell us what we mean by digital products and what you learned from this lesson? Just in 2 minutes. You don't need to talk much. Don't be scared. Okay, okay. Favor said she's at work. There's no problem. I will not call you there. Israel, don't be scared. Eh? Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Right? Don't be shy. Glory, you're already unmuted. Do you want to give us just a brief talk about what you learned today from today's class?
All right. Good
All
evening,
right.
ma'am.
Good evening.
Yes, I didn't join you on time, but from where I met you, like where I met you today, um, I came to understand that the digital products are those products that are handled online. They are not hardware, they are more of software products. And I gave an example of Facebook as digital, that's an online product. They are products that are majorly used online.
Okay.
So that was what I got from
All right.
getting
Please let's clap for her. That's wonderful. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's really great. You guys should be vocal, talk, even in as much as a free class. Make sure you get every bit of value from it, right? So please, you can be free. You can be free with us, unmute your mic, ask questions, and just be free totally, right? We are not seeing it as a free course. We are seeing it as we are teaching you and we are trying to impact you, right? Even as much as it is free. So don't be scared at any time to ask your instructor a question if you do not understand, right? It's not just about getting the certificates. You must be able to defend it so that, yes, you are attending this class and you have this wisdom and you have, you know, this idea of what a digital product is, and I cannot tell you what a UI UX designer does. I cannot tell you what a mobile developer does. I cannot tell you what a web developer does. I want people that are really, really, you know, excited. You can see the way I'm smiling. I want you to be smiling like that. Be excited about this class. Okay? Let me look for another person to pick while the attendance is going on. Let me look for another person. Joseph, Joseph, what did you learn today? What did you learn today, Joseph? You guys, I will just unmute your mic now. If you are laughing, I can do that. If you are laughing, we know. Joseph, what did you learn today? Can you guys hear me, Joseph? Okay, Joseph does not want to talk. Mayor Kun, right? Mayor Kun, what did you learn today? What did you learn today? You can use the chat too. I want to be sure that I imparted you today. What did you learn? What did you learn? All right, since nobody wants to talk, Glory, me and you, we align. Me and you, we align. I owe you 1 million naira like this now. Me and you, we align later. I will send you your money since nobody wants to talk. So we've come to the end of this class. We've come to the end of this lecture. Tomorrow we'll be having other courses. And like I said, it is free for everyone. You can decide to join in UI UX. Maybe you're not sure whether you want to be a UI UX designer. You're not sure whether you want to be a web developer. You're not sure whether you want to be a mobile developer. You want to see or you want to have a feel of what each of these roles, what they do, and the interfaces they use, the apps they use, and see which one that you will now decide to settle on. You can go through any of the classes. You can decide that I want to do UI UX today, I want to do web development. You can go through any of them. Okay, Chloe, the link is not still copying. Can you text me? Oh yes, the this is recorded, but I will check to see if it's actually recorded. Right, I'll have to check that. Then okay, Glory, can you message me privately, like on what do you call it, on Telegram? Can you message me on Telegram? Just message the Telegram this thing so that you can get your attendance. Just message me on Telegram. All right. Thank you so much for joining today's class, and I'll see you. I'll see you tomorrow. We will see you tomorrow. Right. Thank you so much, and have a nice day. Bye bye.